Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Entertainment Expansion. We're your hosts, Tyler Callahan and Mike Ferrante. Mike, how you doing this week?
Well, Tyler, I'm chilling this week. Definitely feeling a lot better.
That's good. It's good to hear. So, this week is not a movie or Hollywood news or games. It is a TV show, but it's a TV show we both really enjoy, and that is Mandalorian, which just wrapped up its second season. And while we do have to wait a while for the third season, there's a lot to unpack here. Very busy season. Mike, before I pass it to you, we are talking about any and all spoilers as needed. And there's quite a few, but
Oh, yes.
I'll pass it to you. Compared to the first, good, bad? What do you think?
Well, how do we put it? This season gave us. I feel like this season, you can't really call it a filler season because I feel like this season to compare it to something would be like an Avengers movie because you're Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau literally just threw a whole bunch of names in a hat and just started pulling out names. This is who we're gonna have. This is who we're gonna have. I mean, for a show that's still relatively new, that's gonna bring up classic Star Wars characters, especially from the animated show. It's definitely something to behold. Seeing a lot of these animated characters who only showed up in the animated films now in live action, now making everything canon.
And bringing characters back from the dead.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with you on that. Unlike the first season, where I've definitely felt there was some padding, every episode this season had a purpose.
Yes.
Like even the first one. Like, did any of those characters show up later? No, but it did tease at the end Boba Fett, and you could say the main part of the first episode was getting the armor. Down the road, Boba Fett's back. So just the fact that each episode had a purpose, I thought was great. I thought the layout of the season was actually really good. So the first half felt like a classic, a story of the week episode for a standard show. But then the second half, once you meet Ahsoka, shit gets serious. You head into the end of the season. All these characters come together, and at least for now, you write off Grogu, Baby Yoda, and all that. And I thought the pacing of the season was great. I was never bored.
Yeah, that's one thing I was going to compliment. I feel like the pacing of the second season was definitely perfect.
Yeah, it's
Like,
definitely an improvement.
It was definitely a consistent build up. Not to say the first one wasn't consistent, but the first one definitely had some filler episodes, and you could tell. But this one, there was just always it was just continuously building the story. You weren't really watching an episode like, all right, well, how does this kind of fit into it?
Also, clearly, after the insane success of the first season, they clearly got a bigger budget. Fighting a giant sandworm in the first episode. You got space battles. You got going to multiple different planets. They definitely improved their budget. But to get an actual characters and plot, I really think the relationship between Mando and Grogu was handled beautifully. Just the fact that over the season, you see them get more and more attached to each other.
Yeah.
And toward the end, how much Mando is willing to sacrifice what he believes in, his religion, which in the first season would be unheard of. But by the end, he has no problem doing it for Grogu.
Yeah, there's some big steps taken in this season.
I mean, he made a big deal last season that one person saw his face, but at the end of this one, you got 6 different people that could have saw his face. Yeah.
Well, to be fair, only 2 of them are living.
I mean, no.
Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, no. Because I was thinking of what was that, the second to last episode?
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
At the Stormtrooper base when Bill Burr goes Coyote Ugly on everyone.
Yeah,
Pulls a Han Solo and shoots first.
I mean, that's how it's done.
Indeed. But overall, I think the show definitely ramped it up on the action.
Mm-hmm.
The fight scenes were amazing in this.
Yep.
It's hard to pick a spot of where to start talking about this show because every episode had something pretty awesome in it. It's hard to just kind of pick up certain pinpoints that really stand out and keep it in order.
All right, then I would say one thing is that the locations were very varied. Yeah, you start off, I think on Tatooine even, But then you have Ice Planet, you have Water Planet, you have the Imperial ships as a location. You have, planets I've never heard of before, and they like the one Ahsoka's on, where basically everything's dead.
Yeah,
Because for Mando season one, at least half the season was on this, was it Tatooine or just another sand planet?
I think it was another sand planet.
Okay, but yeah, like that was mostly in one, one terrain, and I would say going to the fighting, very unique fighting in a lot of different episodes. So again, first episode, giant sandworm. It was very like, many people against one, with obviously being a sandworm. That's different compared to, say, Ahsoka fighting Mando briefly and then fighting the people that ruled the city, to uh, Boba Fett fucking people up, fucking up all different stormtroopers, like cracking their helmets. Like, one thing I thought was great is that it wasn't just, because there's no Jedi, it's just shootouts every episode. It's not that.
There was definitely a decent amount of hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah.
And you do have your shootouts too.
Of course, yeah, but at least the shootouts are blended, mixed in. Did you think that they brought back too many characters? Like, I think it was well done, but do you think maybe at times was a little forced?
No, because I feel like it all flowed really naturally, to be honest with you.
Good.
Because if you think about it, right, Mandalorians, if he's on Tatooine, he's obviously, there's a good chance he'd have a run with Boba Fett, and Boba Fett would track him back. So I could see that happening. But then once you get to Bo-Katan, she knew Ahsoka. She knew Ahsoka was a Jedi. She would still know Ahsoka is alive and point Mando in the right direction to find her. Boom, that makes sense. So now you have Mandalorian, or you have Boba Fett, Ahsoka, and Bo-Katan all kind of wrapped up in a bow nicely. Now, where the last person kind of fits in, that was kind of a wild card.
Yeah, we haven't talked about that. Because Luke Skywalker shows up for 5 minutes. Like, because if we haven't brought back enough characters, let's bring back the OG.
Yeah, that's where their budget went, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, amazing action scene though.
Yeah, it definitely showed more Luke in his prime.
Yeah, which we never got to see.
Yeah, because again, he was always going up against the highest opponents, Emperor, Darth Vader. Here, it's just like he's just fucking up droids.
Yeah,
and it's good. They showed how much of a struggle Mando had against one and barely took it down. And then 5 minutes later, Luke is like, "Yeah, well, I just killed 30."
That was honestly a pretty awesome fight though between Mando and that droid.
It was very Terminator-esque.
Yeah, it was very tense because you're like, oh shit, like this thing is fucking, he's not going down.
And I will say Moff Gideon was a pretty good villain.
Yeah, I feel like he didn't really put up much of a fight.
I mean, I would say I think he did though. I mean, because if you think about it, he was very smart and calculating. He kept back, let Mandos do his thing. When he got a chance, he was able to place a tracker on the ship, found them. He didn't risk going out himself like the last time to get the child. He sent the stormtroopers, death troopers, and all that, and succeeded.
Well, I'm talking about more of his one-on-one fight with Mando.
I mean, looking at the fight, clearly he's not skilled in sword fighting.
Yeah, but that's kind of like where I was like, well, this dude's holding a darksaber, so he must have some kind of like practice with it. He's probably gonna be like a really good opponent.
Do you think maybe he's just arrogant and like I have something that can cut through anything except obviously
that's
besides that, he can cut through anything. So maybe he got arrogant, like, well, I don't have to train. I can just stab someone.
Yeah, I guess.
But no, I did like the detail in the fight that he's just very like aggressively swinging it. Like, this ain't no like Jedi moves or samurai moves. He's just trying to just get a cheap shot in.
I also do enjoy the fact that, when the darksaber was going against the Beskar spear, you saw like the Beskar spear getting like red hot.
Mm-hmm. Like, it looked like it was going to break, but
it held up.
Yeah,
I feel like that was coming though. We all knew Mando was going to get his hands on the darksaber. We all knew it.
Yeah. But again, it goes back to Moff Gideon being super smart in that he sets it so that if he does lose, it's Mando getting it. So he has to die by Bo-Katan because he knows she really wants it.
Potentially.
Obviously, it doesn't pan out the way he wants to because, Luke shows up, which I also liked how he knew, oh shit. Once he saw the robes, it's like, no, 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 no.
I mean, my thing is, what besides keeping him alive to exposit a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
why would they keep him alive?
Because Cara Dune needs her, because he's wanted by the New Republic.
So who gives a fuck? Bring him in dead. I'm
No,
sure his
no,
body. I'm sure his body will do just fine.
no. I do
Listen, he
like
tried to
how they're
sue us.
starting.
What do you want to do? You gonna pull back footage on this illegal Imperial cruiser? No.
Okay, fine. Let's get down to it. I'm calling it right now. I don't know if they're going to keep showing it, but I think with Grogu's blood and that lab episode, I think since we're still years out, I think this is the early plans of bringing back Palpatine. Think about it. They need blood with strong Force user. That's why Moff Gideon goes to hell and back to get Grogu. You have the scientist that has been doing studies of injecting the blood and how it accepts, rejects the blood. And you saw the thing. And you see Rise of Skywalker, you're looking at 20, 30 years in the future now. And
Yeah, but
Palpatine has like hundreds of these clones.
yes, but you are really gauging on the fact that John Favreau and Dave Filoni are like, let's act like, you know, the sequel trilogy was actually good, and let's tie in a story to them.
I'm not saying they're tying it in directly, but clearly they have no problem talking about the New Republic, the good and bads of it. Because again, Cara Dune is now a marshal. She's getting her own spin-off show with the New Republic. They have no problem talking about the after effects of the war. That's one of Bill Burr's best scenes. And now you have the starting of testing out clone technology.
Really,
And I'm not saying
testing out clone technology. We have the entire prequels for clone technology.
Clone technology with force users, I guess.
Well,
clearly they're making a big deal about Grogu's blood.
Yeah. So when we were talking about accepting and declining, right? The body types.
Mm-hmm.
What are the chances that Moff Gideon wanted Grogu's blood to insert it into his own so he could be force sensitive? He already had the Darksaber, so he obviously fancied the Jedi arts. His whole outfit is similar to a Vader-esque style with the chest piece.
That could be. That could be. My only thing against that is that I feel if that was the case, I think they should have hinted at that more. Because again, he doesn't really show up until like the second half of the season.
Yeah. Well, listen.
I don't know. He's still alive. He could break out. You're right. Maybe season 3.
You never know.
Never know.
But also, we could go into cloning Dark Force users.
True.
Now, this would be hard to do now, but you remember any of the Force Unleashed games?
Yes, the Star Killer, right?
Yeah. Star Killer actually had a clone of him, and that's what Vader used for Force Unleashed 2. Now, granted, this isn't canon. It's technically Legends at this point. But nonetheless, it could be going down that road, too.
Could be. I'm just throwing out the Palpatine thing there because I don't think Jon Favreau and Filoni are going to, try and make this sequels better. I just think they're going to, well, here's a couple things that make those things make sense, but they're not going to rewrite everything to improve those movies. The movies are the movies.
Yeah.
But at least now, if they finish this and it turns out it's Palpatine's, early testing, at least then when you watch Rise of Skywalker, you'd be like, oh, well, this is where that came from. Now, we should need a 3 to 4 season TV show to get this information, but no, they're doing what they can.
Hey, listen, I got faith in the Dream Team.
Oh, I got faith in them. I don't think they're going to screw this up. I mean, it seems like they're writing out Grogu for a while, which is smart. It seems like Disney's also being smart by not saying, hey, you need to keep them in for the merchandise.
Yeah, they sell enough merch.
Because, I mean, they're still going to sell merch. I mean, just because he's not on the show for a while. And besides, clearly with him taking up the helmet and making the promise, he's showing up again at some point. So this isn't part of the show, but since we're, 10, 15 years now from Luke fucking up everything with his Jedi Academy, Grogu going to be there, or is he already gone by the time that happens?
I don't know.
Because
it's a good question.
Luke's taking him for training. From what I saw online, apparently in this year, if you line it up with everything Ben Solo is 3 to 4 years old. So again, we're looking at 10 years, maybe 15, where everything falls to shit. Luke goes into hiding. I don't know.
Yes,
I wonder if they show that.
the fall of the new Jedi Order.
Yeah, I wonder how to tie that in.
It's a good question.
Yeah, because I don't think that's going to be its own spin-off show.
No,
It'd be
probably
too
not.
expensive too, because you'd have to. I mean, the flashback they showed Luke with the beard, they could probably get away with that. I mean, I guess keeping it back on Mandalorian. How long do you think he keeps the throne?
Mando?
Yeah, he's got the sword.
I don't think he wants the throne.
But then that's the best king, someone who doesn't want it. I mean, if you got to make a good conflict for season 3, you have a rightful heir to the throne. You have Bo-Katan, who, while respects him, also kind of wants to be the king, queen of Mandalore. But then also Mando doesn't want to be the king.
Yeah,
I mean, that's your conflict for season 3.
That's part of it. Or is it going to be the retaking of Mandalore?
I don't know. They kept saying the planet was glassed and it's haunted to go back. So I don't know what, like, if they were to go there, there shouldn't be anything there. Also, because I'm not too deep into Mandalore history, how many Mandalorians would actually be left? I'd say that team goes back there. They, reset the castle. Mando sits on the throne. How many Mandalorians could they actually bring back?
Don't know.
Because we got, what, 4, 5 at most right now? Boba's fucked off.
Well, yeah, Boba was never really considered a Mandalorian.
True. So, yeah, you're looking at about 4 Mandalorians.
He's a clone of a disavowed Mandalorian.
That's fine. He runs Tatooine now. It's all good.
Yeah, he might as well. I don't know. It's hard to say because there could be a whole planet of people in Mandalore still. Because Bo-Katan was looked at as a traitor and was kind of kicked out. It's hard to say because if the Empire came back and took back Mandalore, she definitely wouldn't be welcome there, and which is why she's on the run, pirating.
Even if she says she has an honest cause, which is to take back the planet.
Correct, but by saying she needs to take back the planet, what is that implying? The planet is under foreign rule.
Yeah, I did like how they've kept what actually happened to the planet of mystery, and it does have me curious on how bad was it that the Empire just said fuck it, and just whatever they did caused everyone to leave.
Yeah, so
clearly something big enough happened where that's they gave up. They gave up trying.
Oh, it's a big question.
So I guess my final question to you is, now that, at least for now, Grogu's storyline is wrapped up, how long do you think the show actually goes on?
I don't know. That's a tough question because they already have contingency plans for other shows. I mean, this one season of Mandalorian spawned us 2 other shows. Or
it
3.
spawned us 3.
I mean, I give the Cara Dune show a season at most.
Okay, fair enough.
Boba and Ahsoka, that's what's really up in the air.
Well, you have Ahsoka going after Thrawn, so that's easily a season or 2, if not more. Boba Fett, depending on how they write it, can be longer than a season.
Yeah, that's kind of a big thing right there.
Mandalorian by itself, I think, is going to be a 4 to 5 season show.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know if I'd want to
go much further than that. Because unless something major happens, let's say a season or 2 for the Mandalorian storyline, but then after that, maybe Grogu comes back for a season and that's it?
I wonder if Mando actually rescues Grogu from the burning of the Jedi Order, the new Jedi Order.
Maybe.
Because Mando has been his protector this entire time.
It's true. But then you have to, but again, he's not a Force user, so he's got to, he's got to hear from somewhere what's happening before he goes there.
Hey, listen, if Rey can learn how to Force heal.
Yeah, and not learn it from Grogu.
And not really show any skills of it otherwise, I think Grogu can be able to reach out to Mando, and then Mando would just get an instinct that Grogu needs help.
Maybe he'll just Force project, like Luke.
Because we have seen certain things like that before.
Yeah. I mean, if Luke trains him properly, he should be able to have enough power to do that. Or something similar.
Yeah, but then again, if you're talking 15 years from now, how old is Grogu technically going to be? Because right now he's still a child.
Mm-hmm.
And he's, 50 years old?
Well, I was saying, all right, 65, 70-year-old Grogu, can he walk more like Yoda? Can he jump around a bit more? Or does he still need to be carried around?
Yeah, because Yoda was 800 when he died.
Yeah.
So it really depends. Maybe when he's 100, he'll be I don't know, 10 years old
I bet.
in real time. I don't know how this age works for their species.
I mean, we haven't seen much of their race, so I
No,
mean, yeah, I definitely have a lot of questions. But yeah, at least with now 2 seasons of Mando done, Star Wars is definitely on the right track.
I couldn't agree more.
You call them the dream team. I think that's
Jack,
perfect summarization of that duo. They should
yeah,
just give the keys to Lucasfilm to them. Just come on.
you give him all the shares. Let
They
John Favreau hold the reins. Kathleen Kennedy, you can step down. Let John Favreau and Dave Filoni take the reins.
they have done
Go.
more good stuff for Star Wars in 2 years than that entire trilogy did in like 4 to 5 years.
Yes. I mean, we got Rogue One out of it.
I'm talking about the main trilogy. But again, like, okay, cool. Rogue One. We got one great Star Wars movie since what, 2015?
Yeah.
Really? You have Disney money behind this, and that's what we get?
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
And that was only good because it didn't reinvent the wheel. They just made it a side story of what happened in between episode, like right before episode 4.
Yeah, it also helped that they were able to kill off anyone they wanted.
Correct.
Definitely looking forward to the other Disney Plus shows now for Star Wars.
Yeah, it definitely seems like that's where the future of Star Wars is heading, which
It's not a bad
make,
thing.
it makes more sense. Higher budget TV shows definitely makes more sense for Star Wars.
If you have a galaxy, an entire galaxy for stories, why does that have to be condensed into a 2.5 hour movie?
Yeah, because if you think about it, the prequel trilogy actually gets better when you watch the Clone Wars animated series because it fills in all the gaps.
Yeah. And the time
So
between the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy is getting better now because you have the Mandalorian filling in how the remnants of the Empire are still there, how they operated, how the New Republic is growing, but it's not as good as it should be.
yeah,
So yeah, no, definitely. I think TV shows seem to be Marvel still movies, but for Star Wars, I think TV shows is where it's at.
I think so because they kind of have a good formula going on right now. I mean, I'm totally okay with an Obi-Wan Kenobi TV show because that makes more sense.
Mm-hmm. Ahsoka.
Yes, I mean it just makes more sense to have TV shows right now, and it's weird for me to say because I hate TV shows. I don't really like waiting week to week to watch something.
Yeah, you're more of a movie
More,
guy, but this works.
yeah. I mean, I could probably count the number of TV shows I've actually fully watched less than two hands.
A Boba Fett, a bounty hunter adventure every week. There you go. As he
Yeah,
tries to
especially
keep the throne, it works.
it's darker and grittier
Mm-hmm.
because that one fight scene between Boba and Bo-Katan's right hand that was pretty good.
See, I thought him just cracking the skulls of stormtroopers was a lot fucked up because I haven't seen armor like that break,
Yeah, I mean,
which is good. I enjoyed it, but yeah,
which really makes you wonder why even wear the armor because blaster shots go right through it anyway.
'cause it looks cool. Okay,
So they can't see out of it, Tyler. They can't
he
see out
hasn't
of it.
he hasn't been in that armor for years. Just let him enjoy it.
I'm talking not Boba. I'm talking about the
Oh, storm.
stormtroopers. They can't see in that armor. Are you kidding me?
Oh, what? You think they could shoot better without the armor?
I feel like the armor doesn't do them anything good because they get shot and they're still dead. The armor doesn't deflect anything.
Fair enough. The only armor that actually seems to work is Mando's.
Yeah, like all the Mandalorian armor seems to be pretty good.
Well, they got it's classic Empire stuff. Mass produced means quality and they're good.
Yeah, that's true.
But if anyone has any other thoughts about Mando, or I guess Star Wars on Disney Plus as a whole, since that seems to be expanding quite quickly now, where can they let us know?
Well, if you guys are as passionate about the future of the Star Wars universe, feel free to let us know. Slide into our DMs, send us a comment on our Facebook, Instagram, or hell, you could even post a comment on our YouTube channel. We look at all of them and we try to respond to as much as we can, and we do like to give shout outs. So as always, you can find us under the name Entertainment Expansion. Thank you for listening. We look forward from hearing from you.